I'm Shawn Carney, the president of 40 Days for Life. 40 Days for Life is a simple campaign focused at the local level of 40 days of prayer and fasting with the intention to end abortion, 40 days of community outreach, raising awareness about the reality of abortion in a community, and 40 days of a nonstop peaceful vigil outside of where the abortions are actually done. And so we focus on the local level, which is one of the reasons why 40 Days for Life has gone to 715 cities in 44 different countries over just the last 10 years. And London and the United Kingdom have played a key role in launching 40 Days for Life to other countries around the globe. And so it was a tremendous blessing to be here today. By the grace of God, 40 Days for Life has spread to 44 countries around the world, and many of those leaders are being persecuted. They're trying to recruit volunteers. They're trying to save more babies, and so we believe it's important that everybody get together. I've met many of the 40 Days for Life leaders, but I haven't met all of them, and they have certainly not met each other, and so this was a tremendous blessing to bring so many different countries together today in London to learn, to network, and to improve their campaigns so that they can go home and save more lives from abortion and close more abortion facilities. I think that the progress that's being made here in the United Kingdom and around the globe is really inspiring. One of the things that struck me was from Isabel, who's the Birmingham leader. And she talked about a mom going in and she thought that she turned around and chose life, and then later she found out that the lady did go in and have an abortion, and then she discovered that no, she didn't. And she talked about the psychological battle of wondering if you're having an impact, and everybody can relate to that. And we have seen 13,305 babies saved from abortion, and we have to trust that when we go out there, God will use our simple and peaceful witness to speak to the beauty of the human person, and to the mom who didn't grow up wanting an abortion. And her testimony of that, Isabel's today, was very powerful and very beautiful. In the United States, there's never been more momentum in the pro-life movement than there is today. Despite nearly 45 years of legalized abortion, it's not a settled issue by any means. Planned Parenthood, our largest abortion operator in America, their brand is at an all-time low. They are now on the brink of losing $500 million of tax funding, and no one trusts them. Their donations are down, the abortions are down, and yet the pro-life movement is growing. Our pregnancy resource centers outnumber abortion providers in the United States 5-1. We have seen 40 Days for Life cover all 50 states in the last 10 years, and we have a robust prayer presence outside many of the abortion providers throughout the entire country. And, 40 Days for Life is an example of the entire pro-life movement in the USA, in that the world comes knocking and wants to do what we're doing in America around the world. And the pro-life movement is not an American thing. It's a humanity thing. It's the most basic thing we can do for our neighbor, is to give them help and give them alternatives when they're considering an abortion. And so that's why it's gone to 44 countries, and we've seen it thrive in the United Kingdom, in Australia, in Croatia, in Romania. We've had 40 Days for Life in Hong Kong and in Moscow, Russia. And that's because it focuses on the local level. And I do think that it is a trend that is going in to other countries. And we certainly see that to some level here in the United Kingdom, but certainly in Colombia and Croatia, where there has been real momentum of lives saved and abortion facilities going out of business. Just here in London, there have been 2 abortion facilities that have closed down following 40 Days for Life campaigns. And so while America is really thriving, the rest of the world is too. And it may be slower in other parts of the world, but it is definitely a trend that is bad for the abortion industry. Every pro-life person needs to know the basic, fundamental, scientific, and philosophical points of why abortion is wrong. You can be an atheist and not want a baby to die. intentionally. And so I think that the scientific arguments, the intellectual arguments, we know when life begins. It begins at conception. There is a unique, newly formed person that has all the DNA to be everything that they're going to be for their entire life. That's why it's such a miracle when a new baby comes into the world after a conception, when life is first formed. And so to defend abortion and advocate abortion is one of the most anti-science positions you can really have. It's anti-intellectual, and it is all based on rhetoric and feeling. It is never based on data. And we know after decades of legalized abortion, 50 years now in the United Kingdom, 45 years in the United States, we know through technology and through scientific data, the reality of life in the womb, human life in the womb. And we also know the damaging impact that abortion has on the women, and we certainly know what it has on the abortion facility workers. And so using those points to speak to the heart is the starting point, particularly in our secular world, because science is always chasing the truth. It's always chasing faith. And I think having that balance is easy when talking about abortion, because everything points to human life. One of the gifts that England gave the United States is many of the freedoms, is the ability to vote and voice your opinion. And, we have a constitution, and in the United States we have the freedom of speech, and we can go out and we can peacefully pray. You can peacefully pray here in the United Kingdom, and we use those rights. And whether people agree with us or not, it is a very patriotic thing to do, to go out and to peacefully pray for an end to abortion. You are using the rights that so many, whether you agree with it or not, have given their lives for us to have. And I think opinion in the public square is something that England and the United States offer the rest of the world. And there are parts of the world where that is simply not tolerated. And we should celebrate, despite what is being said, we should celebrate the fact that it can be said. And from our position, it is influential, because nobody grows up wanting an abortion. Nobody grows up wanting to go in there. And the women that go in and have abortions, they're not angry that it's a prayer vigil. They're glad that somebody is out there for them, particularly the ones that turn around. And for the ones that don't want anybody out there, they don't want to see a prayer vigil when they go in, for an abortion, they at least have that chance to see the public witness after they do have the abortion, because there's no follow-up appointment with the abortion industry. Once you have one at a Marie Stopes, they're done with you. And yet the pro-life community is still there for you. If you want healing or you want options, and I've had so many women 10, 20, 30 years after their abortion come back and say, I didn't think that I wanted you there that day, but I wish I would have turned around. And now I want to find healing, because I think about my abortion every single day. That happens all the time. And so to condemn people going out and exercising those rights is a misunderstanding of freedom and a misunderstanding of democracy. Get involved. Go to 40daysforlife.com and sign up for the email list. The email list is always the first to hear about things. We've got some big announcements coming up for the fall campaign. You can go to 40daysforlife.com and see where your closest 40 Days for Life campaign is. That starts on September the 27th. So sign up for the emails, and also sign up for the podcasts that are available on iTunes. It's the 40 Days for Life podcast. It's a weekly pro-life podcast, and you can download that for free on iTunes. Those are the best ways to start, because that helps you discern what role, if any, you'll have in standing up against this great injustice that dehumanizes the most sacred and the most vulnerable among us.